the title in Scotland, he immediately said, I want to defend in Omaha. Promoter Bob Arum at first said, that's fine, we can get you a spot at a casino across the river in Council Bluffs. Crawford said, I want to defend in Omaha. He gave up money for the chance to do this. Now Michael Buffer introduces the fighters.
Operated in association with SMS Promotions, proudly presents the main event of the evening. 12 rounds of boxing for the WBO Lightweight Championship of the World. Sponsored by Tecate Con Carácter and PlayStation. PlayStation 4, greatness awaits. Sanctioned by the Nebraska State Athletic Commission, Acting Commissioner Jim Hayes, Deputy Commissioner Brian Dunn, the World Boxing Organization President Francisco Paco Barcarcel, Supervisor Mr. John Duggan. The three judges at ringside scoring this contest, Robert Hecko, Levi Martinez, and Dennis Nelson. And inside the ring, in charge of the action at the bell, World Championship veteran referee, Gino Rodriguez. And now, the officials are ready. The fighters are ready. Fight fans, are you ready? For the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world courtesy of HBO, ladies and gentlemen, from Omaha, Nebraska, USA, let's get ready to rumble! Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing blue, white, and red, official weight, 134.5 pounds. This Olympic gold medal champion is now perfect as a professional with a record consisting of 23 fights, 23 victories, including 16 knockouts. He comes to us from Guantanamo, Cuba. He's the challenger tonight, former featherweight and super featherweight world champion, El Ciclón de Guantanamo, Yuriorkis Gamboa. And fighting out of the red corner, wearing black and weighing in officially at 134.75 pounds. His professional record also perfect. An identical one at 23 fights, 23 victories, including 16 victories by knockout. He's the fighting pride of Omaha, Nebraska, USA. The reigning, defending, undefeated WBO lightweight champion of the world, Terence Crawford.
Let's go, guys. Clear the ring. Clear the ring. Clear the ring. Let's go, guys. Vente. Okay, gentlemen, I got your instruction. I want you to obey my commands at all times. Protect yourself at all times. Good luck to you.
The winner of this fight will be the undisputed star of the lightweight division. A lot of skill, a lot of speed, a lot of talent in this ring tonight.
Official announced attendance 10,943. Max, I'm with you. Feels like a bigger crowd than that. The energy is extraordinary as we get started in round one. Roy, you made a great point. They were booing in the middleweight bout because they wanted to see Terence Crawford.
Exactly. They ain't coming to see guys that they never heard of before. They came in to see one guy. That's TC, Terence Crawford, who they have out there in front of them right now.
They got two guys in front of them. See Gamboa flashing his speed early.
The one thing that ultimately blunts speed is timing. Crawford is the kind of skilled fighter who can ultimately find the timing necessary. At least he has against other opponents. But Gamboa has the kind of speed that upsets your expectations.
Like that. Like that. 1-2 with the right hand landing over the top.
To Max's credit, Gamboa is the type of guy that you can never count out because of the amateur background, because of the experience he has. You can never not expect him not to have a chance in a fight.
And because of the extraordinary physical skills.
He's just that good.
Crawford. But Gamboa is beating Crawford to the punch early on.
I think his speed is surprising Crawford. He's probably never had to face speed like this before as a pro.
Well, if you think about it, you know, the guys, most of the time, the guys from Cuba and Russia, for that effect of the Eastern European guys, they have more experience at going 3 to 5 rounds. So early in the fight, they should dominate the first 3 to 5 rounds. They got 300 and 400 times of doing it.
A week ago, a celebrated amateur who had a gold medal, Vasily Lomachenko, beat a very good American boxer, Gary Russell Jr., relatively easily. But Gary Russell Jr. was protected and never fought the kind of opposition that Crawford has fought to get to this point. Crawford would seem on paper to be better prepared for this moment.
You have two really good fighters here in front of you, and I'm just delighted to be able to be here to work this fight because this was a fight that I saw on the schedule that I said, boy, I really hope I'm there to see that.
You and me both.
First half of the round belonged to Gamboa. Now Crawford has started to find the range in the last minute of the round. I got the bucket.
Combination of 3 punches, not just one, all right? Keep your hands up, keep your guard up. Don't bring your guard down. Don't do it again. Good? Good. Let's go, everything's looking good.
You see Gamboa come in with a hook, catches the left uppercut to the chin, but then lands a good overhand right to the jaw of Terence Crawford early in that first round.
CompuBox numbers in round 1. Gamboa landed 7 out of 29 by CompuBox count, including 5 power connects. Crawford was 4 of 27. I believe all of those connects probably were in the last minute of round number 1.
This is one of those fights where it looks like 2 snakes or 2 big cats in front of each other.
A big cat and mouse game. And to Gamboa's credit, though, Max, you got to say the 12 or 13-month layoff is not really apparent right here early in this fight.
No, he looks sharp.
His father said they did more sparring to make up for the lost time, and right now I've seen no ring rust on Gamboa.
Good jab by Crawford. Backs Gamboa up.
Yeah, for whatever perception about Gamboa was going into this fight, smaller, older, rustier, flatter in recent performances, Crawford picked a hell of an obstacle in his first hometown's fight.
Well, I don't know if he picked that. That could have been chosen by the promoter, saying that, okay, since you want to choose where you fight at, how about we'll choose who you fight? I almost equated it to Mike Alvarado bringing Ruslan Provodnikov to Denver. Not the best guy to bring home to battle with.
You know, it's not because Crawford is also extremely fast. Real quick, it's that Gamboa's first so often in this fight. He's dictating tempo and getting off his shots first so far.
Well, good little hook there by Gamboa. Crawford has landed his jab a few times in this round, and now he gets a right hand across the top.
Gamboa is doing a good job of almost out-jabbing the taller fighter. Reminds you of Dwight Muhammad Qual-Wheel a little bit. They have very long jabs for short fighters, and Gamboa has a very long jab for a short fighter.
Gamboa's had a series of trainers. Recently has gone back to his father, who is his official trainer in the corner tonight, Carlos Gamboa. In Crawford's corner, the official trainer is listed as Iso Dieguez, and he's the man who works with Crawford in the gym. But the person who talks to Crawford in the corner throughout the fight is his longtime buddy and sidekick, Brian McIntyre, known in the camp as Bo Mac.
Crawford really making good adjustments in this round and still getting tagged by Gamboa and countered by Gamboa.
But that means both fighters are landing now.
For sure, Crawford's going to the body, mixing it up high-low.
Turning into a great fight like I expected it to be. Good hook by Gamboa.
Sensational stuff.
Both fighters showing you some in round two of what they can do.
Can't pull straight back against Crawford like you can against lesser fighters.
Don't despair when you attack. Move it on my head. Don't touch my head. Relax, don't despair. Move your upper body. Work the jab. Straight shot. Swing it, and then the right hand.
Hey, keep throwing that overhand right like you're doing. You know what I'm saying? Hey, when he start bouncing up and down, that's when he's ready to come in. I know. So throw that jab out there and break that rhythm. Right?
Just skip hands up, bud. Come on, let's do it.
CompuBox numbers in round two. Crawford 8 out of 38. Gamboa 8 out of 30. Gamboa with a slight edge in power connect. Crawford wants to work his jab. Throws a right-hand lead to begin round number 3.
What Crawford got to do is he got to start hitting Gamboa first with a jab or something, because he can't let Gamboa continue to freely come at him like that. Gamboa is too experienced to fight behind him. You have to get in front of a guy like Gamboa in order to beat him.
If you sneaked a quick peek at the bottom of the screen, you might have seen that our unofficial ringside score, Steve Weisfeld, has given the first 2 rounds to Yuriorkis Gamboa.
Look, the people who like Crawford like him because he's longer, taller, younger, and he's also very quick and athletic. But there are levels of athleticism. And if you had to choose who's the more special athlete, you'd say Gamboa. He's also the more experienced fighter.
Gamboa has been largely inactive, only 2 fights in the last 2.5 years. But again, Max Kellerman made that point. Uninspiring opposition. This is inspiring opposition and an inspiring situation. And Gamboa, at the moment, seems to be rising to it. Blocked that left hook, did Terence Crawford. Now he starts to work his very stiff jab again. And Gamboa lands a left hook and a right hand. And gets in a couple of other shots as he moves Crawford toward the ropes. Good flurry by Gamboa.
Yeah, it was a great punch coming in, great right hand, but Terence took it pretty good. Now Terence goes southpaw.
Something he's capable of doing very well.
Considering what's in front of him, Gamboa just looks sensational.
Get back, get back.
And he just missed Crawford with a good overhand right. I hope Crawford realizes that and turns back to the right-handed position, because if that right hand had landed then, he might have saw something bad.
Well, but Crawford landed a little left hand
like
after he
that.
switched to southpaw.
That's
and there you made your point, Roy Jones. Yuriorkis made the point for you, landing the right hand. Almost lands another big one.
If Crawford needs to stay right-handed, he doesn't need to fight southpaw.
And this is what is going to make this fight really interesting. Crawford's got real dog in him, Roy. When the going gets tough, he digs in.
Yeah, he does.
And he wants to prove you wrong on the southpaw point.
And maybe he will, but I just say I don't like it. I didn't say he couldn't do it. I just didn't like it because I saw that overhand left coming.
And he got caught with a left hook out of the southpaw stance.
And I don't like those punches landing that early against a young fighter.
I'm starting to believe you're entirely correct, and he should switch back to the conventional stance. But Terence Crawford, I have a hunch, will be stubborn about it.
Well, the bad thing about it is when like that, a fighter is
blocked by a right hand.
The problem is Gamboa has too much experience for this. You're not going to beat him in your second weight. You must fight him in your first weight.
This is a round in which Crawford has been outclassed.
Crawford gets in a couple of counter shots to reverse the momentum just a little bit as the round comes to a close. And there's Deborah Crawford, Terence's mother, fighting just as hard as her son at ringside.
All that fast shit, keep that jab out in his face, shit, okay? And when you southpaw, you slipping to your left too far because you're catching you straight down the pipe with that right hand, all right? So you got to start going to your right, all right? Start going to your right so you can get away from his right hand, all right?
He's catching with his left hand. Okay, so what? Put it a little bit more. Pick it up a little bit more. All right, we're doing good. We're doing good.
He see Gamboa come in and land his straight jab, but beat Terence Crawford to the punch that time. Then he lands his overhand right that I expect him to land when Terence got in the southpaw position. But it didn't hurt or have any real effect on Terence, but you kind of saw the punch coming.
But to the degree that anybody's landed big shots, it's Gamboa so far. And he outlanded Crawford 12-7 by CompuBox count in that round. 10 of the 12 connects power shots. So you have an interesting situation developing in Omaha. Terence Crawford wanted to defend his new lightweight title at home. He appears to have lost the first 3 rounds to Yuriorkis Gamboa. Let's see if Steve Weisfeld agrees. Steve?
Jim, I do agree. I have it 30-27 for Gamboa. As much as I like what Crawford is doing, I love Gamboa's defense and his right to the body, which is opening Crawford up to headshots. Crawford seems to be missing the mark by just a little, but in my view, enough to lose rounds 1, 2, and 3.
Now Crawford lands a couple of jabs out of the southpaw stance that Roy Jones thinks is a very ill-advised tactic, but Crawford sticking with it. You heard Brian McIntyre tell him in the corner, move to your right, get away from his right hand.
I thought Crawford's best round was the second, but I thought he lost it.
He's sticking with the southpaw position. He must see something. I hope it's just not out of him being stubborn, because I would not want to see my fighter against Gamboa fighting as a southpaw if he's normally an orthodox fighter.
Crawford did good work out of the southpaw stance in each of the fights which preceded this one. Greatest Prescott, Sanabria from Mexico, Andrei Klimov of Russia. He went almost exclusively southpaw against him, but none of those guys had the kinds of physical skills that Yuriorkis Gamboa has.
Not the experience, Jim. That's why it bothers me. He's constantly giving Gamboa that overhand right. A good left hand by Crawford, though. Good exchange. He exchanged a right hook for overhand left. Overhand right.
Hard left hand by Crawford. Nails Gamboa again. Another hard left hand by Crawford. He's setting up these punches pretty well.
Yeah, he's getting clipped with some good shots, too.
Absolutely.
Yes, they're getting both.
I'm not calling that Gamboa's landing back with counters.
It's hard as fast as they're throwing, Jim. Got to make up your mind, call one or the other.
Exactly right.
Good jab by Crawford.
I'm sticking with letting you know that Crawford is turning the tide just a little bit and is landing his right jab out of the southpaw stance.
And the evidence is on Gamboa's left eye now.
Terence Crawford is beginning to make a physical impact in this round, although CompuBox still finds Yuriorkis Gamboa landing more. They're giving and taking at center ring. Crawford just missed with another left-hand shot. Getting better.
Terrific fight.
Saturday, August 2 on World Championship Boxing. Sergey Kovalev puts his light heavyweight title on the line against Blake Caparello in Atlantic City. And from Las Vegas, Brandon Rios returns to the ring to face Diego Chavez, while Jesse Vargas matches up with Anton Novikov. Tuesday, August 5, it's the premiere of Hard Knocks This year, our 5-episode series spotlights the Atlanta Falcons as they embark on training camp with their sights set on returning to the playoffs following a disappointing 2013.
Touch him when he finish, come in, all right? Come on, let's do it, relax. Breathe deeply now. Good, good. Don't despair.
Copy box numbers on power punches through 4 rounds. It's all Gamboa, landing 36 out of 94 to 20 of 54 for Crawford. Crawford began to pick up the pace just a little bit in that last round. Now we come to the 5th of a scheduled 12.
Jim, you were asking earlier before the fight started about Crawford's temperament. I think it served him very well so far. Rather than being discouraged or amazed at what Gamboa did early, he just remained calm and, if anything, got more determined.
And he just hit Gamboa with a really good left hand to the body.
Good work by Crawford early in this round.
Now he's gotten comfortable in his southpaw stance. Now you see him moving his head early, and that's what you want to see if he's going to fight southpaw. That's what he wasn't doing early, but now he's made the adjustment.
So for the first time there, he slipped the Gamboa punch and got in a body shot underneath.
Because he's moving the head like he should be now out of the southpaw position. So I guess it just took him a round or two to get comfortable.
But Steve Weisfeld gave the 4th to Gamboa. So as of this moment, at least on our unofficial scorecard, Terence Crawford has fallen 4 rounds behind at home in Omaha. Would have to win 6 of the last 8 just to get a draw.
Second round I felt was close.
Hard left hand by Gamboa.
And good hook by Crawford as well.
If you're the bigger man and you're chest to chest, walk your opponent back.
And that's what Crawford just did.
Right hand pot shot by Gamboa. Crawford sticking with the southpaw stance. Counterintuitive in the eyes of our expert, Roy Jones. But seemingly beginning to slow Gamboa down just a bit.
It also indicates that...
good shot! Hard counter shot by Terence Crawford. Down goes Gamboa. Tremendous right-hand shot as Gamboa was coming in.
Terence must have saw something because he stuck with that southpaw stance. He stuck with it for a reason because he had to see something.
And he just changed the fight with one tremendous right-hand shot.
What dimension?
Left hand lands for Crawford.
What dimension to his game he just showed Terence Crawford.
Oh, that hurt Gamboa again. Now he turned back right.
Gamboa firing back. Great body shot by Crawford.
Yes.
Thunderous hard right hand to the body.
Yeah, those are hurting Gamboa. Gamboa's in big trouble right now.
11 seconds to go in the round. Crawford hammers him again with another right hand. Almost knocked him down. Left hand lands for Crawford. Gamboa on clear streak as the round ends. And Yuriorkis Gamboa was lucky to get out of the round without going down a second time. Tremendous flurry by Terence Crawford.
You've got to bring your hands up, baby. Where's the water? Where's the water? The water! Yuriorkis, you've got to keep your guard up. You've got to keep your hands up. Don't despair. Relax. Stay calm. You can't despair with him.
Here you see Terence Crawford throw the right hook as Gamboa was coming in. Very difficult punch for Gamboa to see coming because he was committed to his right hand. Then he followed by a left uppercut and a left overhand, and that sent him to the canvas. That right hook right there caused all the drama when he came in for the right hand, and down goes Gamboa.
And he almost got him again at the end of the round. Overall, Crawford landed 18 power shots in the round and generally took command of Yuriorkis Gamboa. Gamboa probably still ahead on the scorecard, but the crowd is pumped now as Crawford gets a 10-8 round and he's back in the fight.
That hook wasn't luck, it wasn't an accident. Gamboa kept jumping in behind these shots. Crawford timed them, checked him with a hook on the way in.
And you knew he saw something because he stayed in the southpaw position.
There he gets him again with the right hook.
Yeah,
Gamboa is insisting on coming forward and firing away, and Crawford is now timing him with perfect counter shots.
And the best thing Crawford is doing right now is landing great body shots. He's not getting away from his body attack.
This ain't a featherweight hitting Gamboa. It's a big lightweight hitting Gamboa, and it's not a limited guy who can't follow up. It's a highly skilled, very intelligent fighter who can.
And Gamboa's heart is his biggest enemy right now because he's going to fight just like he's doing right now.
Gamboa wants to turn it back around with his own power shots.
He may have.
Bring it up, bring it up, bring it up, bring it up. Let's go.
Good left hand by Crawford. Gamboa's legs don't look really good. The size of Crawford is starting to become apparent.
And we're not yet halfway through the fight.
Boy, two real fighters in their physical primes, having fought good opposition to get to this place, unafraid to take each other on. Boxing when they need to, punching when they need to, overcoming adversity, making adjustments. This is boxing at its best.
Pretty spectacular stuff. In a big ring here in Omaha, unusually large, looked almost like 23 feet wide to us.
Gamboa landed a good right hand, and Crawford answered with a good left hand. Now Terence Crawford is in the best place for himself because
he's starting command with his jab.
Yeah, the first 5 rounds you expected Gamboa to dominate because of all the amateur experience he has. The last 6 or 7 rounds you'll expect Crawford to even things up and start to see how good he really is.
Roy, you're absolutely right. As soon as the amateur distance was over, Crawford landed that hook.
That's exactly right.
Crawford's more conventional boxing skills have begun to take over in the last couple of rounds.
And Crawford's doing some great body work.
And Crawford's patience and poise enabled them to do it.
And there's the Crawford family at ringside. They like what they saw.
He got close. We won it, but it was close a little bit. Okay. Can you pick it up a little bit? Yeah. All right. I know you're in shape. You can push it out. Pick it up a little bit.
He's doing a damn good job, man.
He's snapping that jaw on his face. If you're gonna turn left-handed, give me more left-handed. Double it. All right. We're doing really good. So say something.
Breathe deeper. Breathe deeper. You guys got nothing. Come on. More water. All right, let's go. Bring your guards up.
Midway through this 12-round championship fight, Terence Crawford defending the lightweight championship at home in Omaha against Yuriorkis Gamboa. Gamboa got off to a rousing start. Crawford knocked him down in the 5th round, seemed to also have control of the 6th. Steve Weisfeld, how do you have it halfway through?
Jim, I have it 57-56 Gamboa, like you said, because of the quick start. Towards the end of round 4, Crawford seems to have made a decision that he's going to walk through Gamboa's shots. Gamboa's great defense that I talked about before doesn't seem to exist anymore. 10-8 round in round 5 because of the knockdown after 6. I have Gamboa up by 1 point.
Gamboa made a brave decision, I think, Roy, and you pointed it out at the time. He was hurt, he was unsteady, he was not able to box any longer with Crawford at that moment on equal terms, so he went forward into Crawford to try to make a stand, and it seemed to at least have worked for the time being.
Yeah, it did. Gamboa has a big heart, a tremendous heart.
But you made another observation in the last round, Roy, that I think is quite apparent. The size advantage for Crawford is beginning to take its toll in the fight.
Yeah, it is. That goes for punching power when they get in close. the body shots, everything, you're starting to see his size prevail.
And the effort that it takes for Gamboa to land the kind of shots he's been landing from outside. He has to jump in. He has to take chances. Crawford is beginning to pick him off.
Yeah, everything he does, he has to gamble because of his height. And usually because he commits so big, because of the distance that he has to cover, he's open if he misses the punch. And Crawford knows that.
Another factor, the poise and confidence of Terence Crawford. A lot of fighters might have crumbled in the early fusillade that Yuriorkis Gamboa was able to put forth, but Crawford didn't lose his composure.
And this ring is very slippery. Both guys are slipping now when they step, well, especially Gamboa. Crawford complained about it at the beginning of the round, but now Gamboa's feet have slid two or three times. You see him looking down now.
And Crawford has Gamboa almost sleepwalking at him a little bit now. Gamboa is just kind of walking forward as opposed to that purposeful movement we saw earlier in the fight.
Good, quick right hook again by Crawford.
Crawford fighting very smart and showing a lot of poise, and this ring is causing Gamboa all kinds of problems. Good hook, there's that hook again.
Another right hook by Crawford. He's been very accurate with that punch the last 2 rounds. Gamboa's lost his accuracy in the last 2 rounds. His punches are wilder now.
Gamboa might be wise to keep Crawford on that side instead of standing on that side himself in the middle of the ring. It's slippery.
Crawford's right jab zeroing in. Round 7 coming down the stretch. If he was 1 point behind coming into this round, most likely he's even coming out of it.
Hurt several times that round, Gamboa was.
Immediately following the conclusion of tonight's main event, Real Sports comes your way with an inside look at a global soccer match fixing network. Bryant Gumbel's team traveled 6 continents, tracked down players who admitted throwing game, as well as some of the masterminds behind it all.
Before he was slipping with that. Now he ain't slipping. Now he just eating motherfuckers, okay? So if you double it up, then 1-2, that's good, all right? He's no down on what he brought. Just keep paying on him. You heard him? 1-2, keep him up and coming out of combo, all right? Two combo.
No te puedes estar apurando. That's fair, man. He's throwing. What's the way you're doing that?
Here's Ron Stander, the man who fought Joe Frazier here in Omaha in the last championship prize fight that was taking place in this city, 1972. Ron Stander of Council Bluffs, Iowa, known as the Butcher, lost a 5th round TKO to Frazier, but got in a couple of shots in the first round. Even fight on the Weisfeld scorecard now as we go to round 8.
But Gamboa looks very discouraged. He refused to even sit down after that round, and that's not a good sign for him.
What was that all about, Roy?
Well, I just feel like he's so discouraged about what's going on. He can't get his balance with his feet because he's slipping. Terence Crawford is hitting him at will. He's not having his way like he was early in the fight. And usually, that's not a good look. It's almost a sign of discouragement.
When Crawford first switched to the southpaw stance in round 3, it looked bad for him. He immediately got clocked with a series of right-hand shots. But since that time, he has steadied himself. He's begun to pick off Gamboa coming in with hard right hook counters and also the right jab. He's landed some left-hand shots. He's knocked Gamboa down. He's taken control of the fight.
Well, he saw something from that southpaw stance, which is why he stayed there. Just that early in the fight, because Gamboa is so slick, it wasn't the smartest thing to do that early. But I guess if you're going to get comfortable with it, then you got to go ahead and get comfortable with it and go through that early onslaught. And that's what Terence did.
I wonder if Gamboa's right hand was easier to see coming from this position, Roy. And therefore the hook, the counter hook, the check that he was landing on Gamboa's way in was more effective.
Well, the biggest thing is it makes Gamboa have to gamble to land the right hand, because when you fight a southpaw, the biggest punch you can hit him with is the overhand right. So with making that kind of space as a southpaw, it makes Gamboa have to gamble a little bit more, which enabled him to land that right hook. Great body shot by Crawford.
I got another observation. It's given him a chance to jab and hook with his stronger hand, and he has made impact by doing that. Instead of missing right hands over the top, he's landing them now because
as a jab and a hook.
Yep. And Most fighters switch and you say, oh, he's giving up something. Crawford looks functionally ambidextrous.
Crawford is the closest thing to Marvelous Marvin when it comes to switching that I've seen in 20 years.
Yep.
He can switch, and he's almost just as good left-handed as he is right-handed.
Here comes Gamboa again. And there go the shots. And down goes Gamboa one more time. Another tremendous counter shot by Terence Crawford.
Just as Crawford was having success, Gamboa was having success, Crawford got the better of the exchange.
So that's the second knockdown of the fight.
Oh, those body shots.
Tremendous left to the body by Crawford. That hurt Gamboa.
That's what's killing Gamboa, Jim. It's the body shots. Not so much of the head shots as the body shots.
Oh, this fight went from
exchange. Tremendous exchange. Gamboa almost went down again.
This fight went from Crawford getting outclassed to Gamboa getting beaten up.
Unbelievable stuff here in Omaha, Nebraska. This crowd, many of whom are at their first live prize fight, getting their money's worth in a big way.
Underneath. Let's go. When you're taking those punches without any need, bring your hands up, bring your guard up. You understand me? Bring your hand up. Don't throw yourself in. Move.
You've been doing, have fun, man. Give me some uppercuts. Let's go to the body limit and keep running.
Here you see Crawford as Gamboa is coming in. He counters with the jab, a left hook, and then another right hand right on the button, and then another semi-hook on the chin that Gamboa was already going down from anyway.
CompuBox numbers in round 8. Crawford landed 30 out of 50 punches, 60%. Gamboa was 7 of 59. And as Max Kellerman said, physically, at this point, Yuriorkis Gamboa is starting to get beaten up.
He's digging in, he's throwing bombs back, he's showing a lot of heart. And Crawford's patience and poise is paying off.
Well, like Crawford said yesterday in the fighter meeting, to him he feels like Gamboa is better as a 26 or a 30 pounder, not necessarily a 35 pounder. So now he's imposing that size wheel on Gamboa. Good hook.
Big left hook by Crawford. Uppercut by Crawford, you heard.
Crawford is hurt.
Crawford's hurt now after a Gamboa shot.
Gamboa kept throwing those bombs and one landed.
Yep. Crawford can't relax with Gamboa, but you see Gamboa's feet are slipping on that Tecate sign.
Now we'll see if Crawford has yet another asset. How can he recover? Because he took a whale of a shot from Gamboa.
But Gamboa, he went to the body right there. I was about to say he's abandoning his body attack, but he just went to the body right there. But I think Gamboa is so tired that I don't know if he can regain his consciousness.
It's a slugfest in what was expected to be a boxing match.
We've had everything in this fight. What a display by both guys, and Crawford still looks unsteady on his feet.
And what a heart by Yuriorkis Gamboa, son. You couldn't ask for a bigger heart. And this is against a really, really good fighter.
No question Crawford's still hurt. He's backing away, and he's trying to buy time to get out of this round. Gamboa's got a minute left in the night to see if he can make his early work pay off.
Gamboa's got to start slipping that right hand on the way in.
He sure better.
That's the thing that keeps hurting him.
And he keeps sliding around on top of it.
Two more good right hands by Crawford inside. And now Crawford's taking command again, and he hurts Gamboa.
Oh, that was Gamboa.
Thunderous shots by both fighters.
Oh, my God.
Oh, down goes Gamboa. Third knockdown for Crawford. Tremendous left-hand shot by Terence Crawford. Gamboa trying to find his legs. 30 seconds left in the round.
And Gamboa just drops his hands as though he doesn't care. And he's still hurt.
Rodriguez got to be very careful about how badly hurt Gamboa is now.
Crawford throwing home run shots, bringing them up from the floor, and Gamboa coming forward.
Down goes Gamboa, and that'll do it. Fourth knockdown of the fight, and a knockout for Terence Crawford.
That was a great fight. A great fight.
And a star-making performance of the highest order. We've got an American fighter who just provided some of the most electric thrills we've seen in the sport in a long time. An unbelievable fight in Omaha.
Crawford wants to be great.
And once he fell behind 4 rounds in this fight, he was. Yuriorkis Gamboa gave it everything he had, Roy Jones.
Man, you can't ask for a better performance out of a guy who had over a year layoff, come back into a big fight like this. I mean, he gave it all he had, heart, guts. I mean, he gave it everything. He tried his best to take this title off of Terence Crawford, just that Terence Crawford was not having it tonight.
He won the first 4 rounds. He put Crawford under enormous pressure before his home fans in Omaha. Crawford was calm, cool, patient, waited for his moment, and when he got it, he seized it in a big way.
Yeah, he did. And what you got to remember, Jim, is that most of the guys like Gamboa who come from the international ranks, they have a number of fights, a great number of fights going 3 to 5 rounds. So don't go in and try to whoop him in the first 3 to 5 rounds. Give him that. You come back the last half of the fight because this is where you have the most experience at.
Seesaw battle in the 9th round. Yuriorkis Gamboa, for a while, had Terence Crawford in trouble.
Yeah, that was a great hook by Terence Crawford because once Yuriorkis gets angry and gets into it, he's going to lay it on the line. He doesn't care about putting it all out there going for broke. He just lets it go. No defense. He's all offense. He wants to win. And you can't ask for a bigger heart than does Yuriorkis Gamboa have. He wants to win.
That uppercut, that knockdown was enough to convince Gino Rodriguez to finish it off. And there's the celebration in Crawfordville. Crawfordville, Nebraska. Let's go to Michael Buffer for the official particulars on the knockout.
The end comes at 2 minutes, 53 seconds of round number 9. The winner by knockout victory, the fighting pride of Omaha, Nebraska, USA, still WBO lightweight champion of the world, Terence Crawford.
Final CompuBox numbers. And you will see how Crawford ultimately dominated the fight. He was well behind on CompuBox numbers after 4 rounds, but he winds up landing 64 more, throwing only 3 more, landing at a 42% connect percentage. Once he found the range and lasered in with that southpaw stance, the quick right hooks, the jabs, and the left hands, he dominated the fight from that point forward, other than the moment in the 9th round when he was wobbled badly by Gamboa. Power shots, Crawford landed more of those too at the end of the fight. 26 body shots landed by Gamboa on Crawford. Not quite enough probably to make the point that Gamboa needed to make. Crawford landing 32 body shots as the fight went on. And upstairs, the 114 headshots, most particularly the 72 shots that Crawford landed to the left side of Gamboa's head with his right hook and his right jab, made the difference in the fight. Max Kellerman stands by with Omaha's Terence Crawford.
Thank you, Terence. That was everything that's great about the sport of boxing. Tremendous performance out of you. When the fight started, he looked as though he surprised you with his hand speed and foot speed early. Tell me what happened early on.
Well, first and foremost, I'd like to thank God for blessing me with this victory. Without him, none of this would be possible. I'd like to thank my team for having a tremendous training camp with me and believing in me. But to get back to your question, I was, warming up, getting used to his style. The first couple of rounds, just wanted to test him out, see where he was at, and then adjust.
What was the adjustment? Because early on, he was hitting you cleanly. By the third round, he was hitting you more than he was in the first two. Power shots, jumping in and out. You stayed calm, but it wasn't getting better. What adjustment did you make after the fourth round?
Well, my coach told me to keep my hands up a little more and, you know, catch him coming in. You know, he was coming in wild, and I was just lazy. I wasn't, you know, reacting as fast as I normally.
Why the switch from orthodox to southpaw?
Because I felt like I could make an adjustment with my jab because he always dropping his left hand, and I can get in a rhythm by catching him with the jab from the southpaw stance.
You hurt him so badly and dropped him and followed up so well, and then took over the fight. And then he looked like he hurt you later on in the fight. What happened there?
Well, he caught me with a good shot, being careless. You know, I commend him. He caught me with a good shot, you know, that I wasn't ready for it because I was too flat-footed, but I felt like I came back strong.
Clearly. You drew, it was announced over 10,000. It looks like 12,000. It feels that way anyway. And they were loud and they were excited before you just did that. What does this mean to you to put on such a great fight and great performance in Omaha?
Well, it means a lot, you know. This is what they've been waiting on since I turned pro. You know, it's been a long time since the Golden Glove Nationals in 2006, and everybody been waiting on me to come back ever since then.
Quickly, you're the undisputed lightweight star of the world. Who do you want next?
Well, you know, that's up to Cameron and my manager, Brian McIntyre. You know, I got the best manager in the business, best coach and staff, best support system, best promoter. You know, I'll just leave it up to them.
Thanks, Terence, and congratulations again, and thank you. And Yuriorkis, thank you. What a sensational fight. You were having your way early. What were you doing early on that changed later in the fight?
Bueno, creo que fue un buen combate. Éramos dos guerreros que estaban arriba del ring, tratando de tener la victoria, y la logró él.
You know, we were just two warriors in the ring trying to get the victory, and he won.
This is your first professional loss. You barely lost as an amateur. I'm sure this is a strange feeling for you. When you were hurt and dropped, you got up and came right to him and wound up hurting him later in the fight. How did you do that?
Bueno, yo creo que una vez en el intercambio que trató de rematarme, lo cogí bien con mi golpe de izquierda a derecha, pero a la misma vez trató de agarrarme y se fue desviando el tiempo y se recuperó un poquito. Me dio a mí nuevamente, el árbitro contó, yo me paré, pero bueno, el árbitro tomó la decisión de que yo no estaba correctamente bien.
You know, I was avoiding some of his punches, and then I was able to come back in with my left and my right. But then as the time went on, you know, he got better. He was able to recuperate from those punches, and he was able to get back into it, and that's when he caught me again.
You fought so many good fighters, amateur and pro. Is he the best you fought?
No, no quería ser el mejor. Yo creo que podía seguir trabajando. Me sentía bien para seguir trabajando. El árbitro decidió su decisión. Lo vamos a respetar, pero yo creo que podía tener un chance más para seguir trabajando como campeón.
No, I don't think he's the best man. I think we could have continued the fight. I think we could have continued the fight, and we could have proven that we were the champion. But the official decided to stop the fight, and we respect that.
That wasn't exactly the question, but we understand the answer. You have the heart of a champion. Thank you, Yuriorkis. Jim?
All right, thank you very much, Max Kellerman. Roy Jones coming in here tonight. One thing I was thinking to myself is, okay, he's got a shot at becoming an American star, but are people going to understand that he's more of a technical boxer than a puncher? So much for that, huh?
Yeah, so much for that. This guy's a star all the way around the board. He has shown in the previous fights that we've shown him that he had all the capabilities, all the right makeup to become a world-class fighter, not just another good boxer, but a great boxer. It's not been a guy since the great Marvin Hagler that I've seen that could turn right-handed or left-handed and be just as effective from either side. This guy is a really special talent. He's a guy that can do it from both sides. He's a guy that doesn't duck and dodge nobody, and he's ready to do the job.
All right, thanks very much, Roy Jones. Great job as always tonight. Max Kellerman, your final thoughts on a sensational evening here in Omaha.
Look, I know Gamboa is not naturally a lightweight, and he hasn't looked great recently, but he looked great early in that fight, and he showed you the heart of a great fighter and the talent, even as the fight wore on, and yet Crawford still beat him up and knocked him out. He is already a major draw, clearly in his hometown, and Roy hit the nail on the head. He wants to be great, legitimately great. And I believe we may be watching a great fighter in Terence Crawford. It's going to be a pleasure to find out in the coming years.
The lightweight champion of the world performs to expectations and fulfills his dreams in front of the home crowd in Omaha. Before we